This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by Small World Vacations. Small World Vacations is proud to sponsor today's podcast. Their team of 40 agents are authorized Disney vacation planners and are recommended by MouseSavers.com. And they're dedicated to your dreams and your dollars. In fact, if you book with Small World Travel any Magic Your Way package by May 1st of 2007 and mention code SCOPA, you'll receive a free backpack. All the details about the special offer can be found at their website by going to www.wdwvacations.com, where the magic begins.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, April 16th, 2007, and this is episode 244 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg of mgmstudios.org. On the show today, we have Len Testa of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World and touringplans.com. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. We also have Mike Scopa of mouseplanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
At least you got shoes, mate. Not a dozen that can say that.
Muppets. Hall of Presidents.
No.
No,
Pirates.
American Adventure.
American Adventure.
Sorry. It's the George Washington scene.
Valley
Forge.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
And also here is I Am Mike Newell of I Am Mouse World Radio. Is this bit old yet, Mike?
Yes.
And back for another show is Mary Waring of MouseSavers.com. And Mary, you also have a brand new website, don't you?
I do. It's called mouseweddings.com, and it has over 500 pages of information about Disney weddings, honeymoons, romantic trips, and all that good stuff.
And how many times did you have to get married to do all of that research?
Only twice. To the same man, I'm happy to report.
As far as he knows. Anyway.
And when you have Mary, you've also got to have Sue Pisatoro of Small World Vacations. Welcome back as well, Sue.
Oh, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And today we're talking about, well, a couple things, but let's start off with some interesting tidbits that are going on in the world of Disney World, and we're going to start with free dining. Len not so subtly hinted at it not too long ago, but...
Excuse me, not only did I not so subtly hint at it, but I was the first.
Just not so subtly hint at it. A dubious honor.
Thank you.
And now, Sue, what are the dates for free dining returning?
This year it is August 26th. You have to check in between August 26th and September 22nd. So that means you can check in on September 22nd and continue your vacation, for whatever amount of nights, as long as there's availability. It must be booked by June 24th. And my agents have been reporting that we're finding limited availability, especially at Pop Century and Wilderness Lodge. So if people are flexible, and especially within the value resorts, if they're flexible with their resort choice, they should be able to find something. But just in case they have the heart set on those two resorts, to be prepared that they might get their heart broken.
It's interesting that those two resorts are the ones that are having trouble. Is it a case of a lot of people going and booking those particular hotels, or is it a case of Disney not offering too many slots for those particular hotels?
It could be a combination of both. In my estimate, I would say it's a combo. Of the, Wilderness Lodge is the least expensive of the deluxe resorts. Pop Century is the most popular of the value resorts. So that's why I think those might be, we're finding limited availability. And then one interesting thing, if people are interested in the family suites over at All Star Music, those, because they're considered suites, are not included in this promotion. So people might have to get 2 rooms at a value resort instead.
That's interesting.
Yes, Disney has deemed them to be suites, and that's how they don't have to include them in such promotions.
Now, Sue, are there any caveats to free dining this season? Any requirements besides getting a Magic Your Way package and all that?
You get a Magic Your Way package, and each person must be on the package, and each person must get the same sort of theme park ticket as with the least amount of days would be a 1-day base ticket. And with Disney, you need a 3-night minimum stay.
3-night minimum stay. Okay,
Night minimum.
I remember when Len not so subtly hinted at it, that I had heard rumors of there being something like a 5-night minimum stay, but 3 nights that's manageable. That's a weekend. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Sue. I was thinking before the show, Sue. Right? If you recall last year, we had a bit of a quarrel, a lover's quarrel.
Yes, that's exactly how I would describe it.
Oh Lord.
But I was trying to think if I would be coming for blood again this year. But I think I've said my piece before, and it's interesting because I think what we'd like to talk about at this point. Let's start with Mary. Mary, what's your view on free dining? Does it work in your opinion? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's a good value?
It really depends on your patterns of eating. If you are a family that mostly goes to the counter service restaurants, it's not a good deal for you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that is to say, if you can find a better discount elsewhere, like a room-only discount or something like that, then you're better off to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's the only game in town during that time period, you might as well take the free food. Why not?
Really?
But you do have to bear in mind that it's during hurricane season, peak of hurricane season. It's right when schools get out, or start up, I should say. So one of the reasons they have to promote that time period is because a lot of people's kids are back in school, and a lot of people don't want to pull their kids out of school right at the beginning of the school year. So there are reasons why Disney is offering this package. Now that said, it is probably the most popular promotion Disney has ever offered since I've been running Mouse Savers, which was 6 years.
Oh yeah.
And people just are crazy about the whole concept of free dining. And what I've often found funny is that, basically what you're saving is about $100 a day for a family of 4. It's $99 and something would cost you if you bought the package yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And they have offered discounts equivalent in value that weren't called free dining, but where you were saving about $100 a day for a family.
Right.
And people couldn't care less about it. But somehow free food, boy, people just love that. They're crazy about it.
My contention, and I'd be interested to see what all of you think about it. But with free dining, if you're an annual pass holder, I don't see the benefit of it because whatever you're going to be saving in dining, you're going to pay for in the fact that you have to get a Magic Your Way package. So that negates any room-only discount codes that you can get.
Right.
And besides the fact that, I think we've all found that it's a lot of food.
It's a tremendous amount of food. I've never been able to finish the food on the dining
So
plan.
it's always with the dining plan. I tried it last year in 2006, and it was good. But I would always get more food than I would ever actually eat if I was paying out of my own dime.
Well, why don't you skip like a dinner and save it up for a Disney signature dining experience?
Well,
Save the credits.
because someone from the Unofficial Guide told me that that's a terrible value.
No, it depends on where it's at.
You would say that there's what place would you say, Len, is worth it to use 2 table service credits?
There's a new chef over at California Grill. My guess is it's probably worth it there.
Chico, I would say.
Yasmin Steakhouse could be, like with the $50 surf and turf.
Yeah, see, it depends upon
I
where
like
you go
Yasmin
and what
quite a
you
bit.
order, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
And
I
go
would
to
actually-
dinner. Don't do
Yeah,
lunch,
dinner.
do
Yeah,
dinner.
you can't do lunch. Exactly. Good point. So there are a
Going
couple.
to a buffet.
Right.
Oh
Yep.
Lord, no! A buffet is just silly. So, especially we actually mentioned this beer garden, even though it's insanely popular. If you're on the dining plan, it's only a marginal value, but it's better than nothing, I guess.
I would say the absolute worst value for the dining plan is to use it at Cinderella's Royal Table. You have
Oh,
to
yeah.
use
Oh, my God.
two credits, and it's well, don't even get me started on the food.
We're actually getting a lot of feedback from readers now who are saying that apparently Disney's pushed it probably a little bit farther than they should have. We're getting a lot of negative comments and feedback.
Well, a quick question here. One of our listeners, Holly from Maryland, sent us an email, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to answer it. She wants to know, I'm a new DVC member this year and would like to use my DVC points to stay at a DVC resort. How would this affect the free dining? Would I be able to get it somehow, or do they typically offer DVC members some other kind of offer?
Nope, nothing.
Can't get it.
No can do. The whole reason they give you the free, quote-unquote, free dining is because you're paying full price, full rack rate,
For the room.
plus tax for the package, which is your room and ticket. So the whole point of DVC is that you're getting your accommodations at a great rate when it's spread out over the time that you own DVC. So you don't,
And Matt,
you don't qualify.
even though, Matt, you mentioned, it may not be a good deal for an annual pass holder, I mean, if you look at the timing, I believe it's during value season, so you're still getting a decent rate on the room. So
Yeah, the room rate is not
Yeah.
outrageous.
That's true, but you could be saving even more money, with an annual pass, and
Right.
I mean,
But I had an idea. I'm a DVC member.
Yep.
And one year I had this sort of devious idea that with my children who are both over, they would be considered juniors, I was going to use my points, stay at the beach club, and I was actually thinking about getting a room at one of the value resorts with the free dining, checking in, and then never even staying there, because I thought for the price I was paying per night at a value resort, I would save more on my food, on getting the free dining, than it would cost me to pay for the food.
That's true.
Really? Huh.
Yes,
I think there are some
that.
circumstances where that would be true, especially if you had 2 juniors, because that free dining for 4 people, including 2 juniors, is really valuable. You'd be paying what is that worth? Like $38.99 times 4, right?
Right. So I thought I would save more money on the food than the cost of the room, and I would come out ahead. And then we could eat wherever we wanted. And I just then, it's kind of just, I thought.
Of course, you'd have to buy a 1-day pass with that. But what I've done, I did do this one year. I bought the package with the 1-day pass, and I had an annual pass, and I just held on to the 1-day pass, and I just applied it to my next annual pass. And I do mention this on my site that this is one way to get around it if you're an annual holder, and for some reason you want to do this. Really depending on circumstances whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah, I did that last year, Mary. It was great. It's a great tip right there. Go ahead, Sue.
One thing we're getting on the confirmations, and I had spoken to Mary about it, and last year they had said the same thing, but this year, I don't remember seeing it on the confirmations, but maybe it was on them. They're saying that everyone must be present at the time of check-in. If you're on the free timing plan.
They did that last year, too. I definitely remember it. They were threatening that they weren't going to let you check in unless everybody was standing there, because people were putting fake kids on there.
We've actually done that.
That's brilliant.
We actually did
Why did I think of that? Len?
Nice
Dude.
work, Len.
Yeah,
You are
come on.
Mensa. Yeah.
Oh, I think I actually mentioned that on a podcast where we had the MACOS test to see whether they could use a child credit. Remember last year when you could use the child credits for the adult meals, even though you can't do it now?
What a brilliant idea!
We actually had the MACOS check in and put one of their grandchildren's names in the reservation, and the kid never even showed up to Walt Disney World. I mean, it was just the MACOS.
Well, let me just say before we get all the emails, I never would condone cheating the Walt Disney World company in any way.
I mean,
of course not. But it is a really good idea.
Well, the thing is, we bought a 1-day ticket and never used it for the child as well. But we were testing to see whether you could use the child credits for adult meals, and you could. So,
which, of course, now you can't.
Now you can't,
just to clarify for those who maybe weren't aware of this before, that it used to be that they didn't separate the credits, the adult and child credits, but they definitely do now.
And while, with the free dining, Len not so subtly hinted at it last time. So, Len, why don't you not so subtly hint at our next bit of news that's coming up?
Which one is that? The
thing
that Scopa talked about?
Yes.
Let him break the news.
Oh, jeez.
Mike.
Well, I don't know if this is news or not, but
rumored. Do you want to label it as that?
It's rumored because actually I'm probably going to defer it to Sue. But we're hearing that anyone who is thinking about booking a 2008 trip to Walt Disney World has been sort of told that it's not clear as to whether or not Magical Express will invoke a charge for its use or not. We're not clear about that. We're not sure, but there seems to be some indication that could be a possibility. So we just wanted to mention it. Again, this is not us saying, Magical Express come January 1st will no longer be free, but there are some indications that something's in the air.
That's
Sue, would you like to talk a little bit about it, or?
Sure, I have no official word on that, so I don't even know. I have heard from some of my agents where at this point you can't book a package for 2008. You can book a room only, and I want to stress to people who are booking room only that you're booking it at 2007 rates, and when Disney determines the 2008 rates, your price will be adjusted. And what Disney does sometimes is they book it in a lower season than you're actually, a lower pricing season than you're actually going. So the price can be significant. In regard to Magical Express, some of my agents have told me that when they booked a 2008 room-only reservation, the cast member could not, or told them they could not add Magical Express to the reservation. I called today to Disney to verify that, and I was told it could be added. So it's up in the air. I don't have official word yet. We'll see once the packages come out, which should be, within the month, what they finally arrive at, whether or not the price is going to, if it's still going to be considered free, or if there will be a separate charge for Magical Express. I don't know yet, but I'm anxiously waiting.
I have one thing to add, which is that when Disney announced that it was going to continue the Magical Express for an additional, was it 10 years? Several months ago.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that? Was
I
it 5?
5, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, when they announced that it would continue for quite an extended number of years, and the press release specifically said that they had no plans to start charging for Magical Express. Now, we don't have any plans this minute, but next month we might.
You mean plans written down on my desktop right now as I'm typing up this press release. That's what you're saying. Oh, you mean plans? Well, it's not really plans. It's more like an intent. Plans implies that it's on paper.
Little caveat at the bottom of that press release.
Exactly.
There might have been an asterisk there that I missed or something. But
that's what it was.
You know what I'm saying? If they want to start charging for it, it makes
plans in my hands. Sorry, go ahead.
If they want to start charging for it, just build it into the price and don't tell us and say it's still free, just like everything else that's quote unquote free out there.
I think what it should be is if they. Here's the thing right now. If you're not using Magical Express, you should get a discount. Because I never use it. I always run a car, but my hotel bill subsidizes the people who use it.
That's a good point.
I'm more than happy to make people pay for it.
That'd be interesting. That's an interesting point. I wonder what percentage of Disney World guests use Magical Express.
Oh, probably a ton.
You think
a ton?
A ton, really?
Like
We
more
had
than 75%?
Behind a ton of people the last time I used it. In line, there were a ton.
I bet it's more than half of out-of-state visitors. Okay, so roughly half of Disney's guests come from out of state. My guess is half of them use Magical Express or more. So you're probably looking at 1 out of every 4 people who go to Walt Disney World.
I would estimate it even higher. We get bins, like the mailman comes with bins of Magical Express tags for us.
Wow. Len, they owe us.
I'm serious.
Wow.
So, but again, you're subsidizing it for the people who don't use Magical Express. You're paying higher hotel rates and getting fewer discounts because one way or another, people are paying for that.
Funding's got to come somewhere.
I would much rather have Disney services be a la carte.
So, how much would you charge?
I would be surprised if they don't get $20 per person round trip or $25.
Wow, that high. I would figure. You got to figure it's a loss later, right?
Yeah, it's.
Currently, since they charge nothing for it is. But even when they do charge, it's not going to be.
Maybe it's 10 to 15 then.
Yeah.
Quite honestly,
the thing is,
I just don't feel like it's worth more than 10.
It's
my last experience with
ride.
it. I won't be using it again unless I have to test it for my site.
What was the last?
Bad experience, Mary?
It just took really a long time. It was more than an hour and a half from the time we got in line for Magical Express till we were at the hotel, which is a long time. I could have hopped in a rental car, which is what I normally do, and been at my hotel 20 minutes later. So, I usually use one of the rental car services where you can pretty much just walk out to the car, as long as you've got one of those, you've signed up for their frequent user program, which is free. All of them offer this, and you can sign up for free, and you basically go out, pick up the car, you're out of there.
Yep.
30 minutes later, you're done. And
Emerald dial.
I was chomping at the bit on this hour and a half thing. It just got really old, and we were also on a bus that had sort of semi-working air conditioning and no
semi-working.
Screens working. They're supposed to show you a little video to get you all amped up about being at Disney World. The screens weren't working, and we had no lights. It was at night, so you couldn't even read on the bus for the hour and a half you were stuck on there.
Oh, jeez.
Hour and a half, 90 minutes from MCO to Disney.
Yeah, actually, we were on the bus for an hour. It was 30 minutes in the airport.
Were you the last stop? Mary, were you the last stop?
No, we were not. That's the really bad thing.
Wow.
We sat on that bus at the airport for a really long time. Now, I understand that typically happens more when you arrive late at night, which we did on that particular trip.
Yeah, that's what happens to me too, but it's never been quite that long. I mean, it's about an hour I've always estimated, give or take. But
We actually
that's an hour and a half as well. That's a lot.
We were testing it.
That would drive me
It was
up
not-
the wall.
Yep.
It was not great. I mean, when you get so used to being able to hop in your rental car and be
Right.
there, it's hard to take. You just feel like
especially-
this is eating into my precious vacation time.
Exactly. It's an hour, and I paid for that hour. It's interesting to note, though, if one of the side effects that Magical Express has done is lowered rental car rates. We haven't checked this in the official guide, but I know lately we've been able to get compact cars for 4 or 5 days at a time for less than $90.
Oh yeah, me and Newell, when we're looking for our trip in June, I mean, it's like Newell, the taxes cost more than the rental car.
Yeah, total with the tax for 4 days was just like $70.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I wonder how Magical Express affects check-in time. If you arrive at the resort with a bunch of other people, right away there's an alarm will develop.
Yeah,
So-
it's just the same as when you take the bus to the to Disney Cruise Line. You know, you get off that bus with however many other people, 75 people off that bus, and then you're behind them in line, unless you happen to be the first one off the bus. So
front.
that's one of the reasons I like to drive to the port when I go on a cruise.
Well, that's it for us today. Again, this show has been sponsored by Small World Vacations, an authorized Disney vacation planner with a team of 40 agents. And don't forget that if you book any Magic Your Way package by May 1st of 2007 and mention code SCOPA, you'll receive a free backpack. If you mention code TESTA, you get nothing. You lose, sir. Good day.
You give them a backpack.
You get to ride a Magical Express.
Give them a Van Halen gift backpack.
And if you want to read our show notes, listen to our older episodes, or send us your comments, you can visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, Mary Waring, and Sophie Satoro, I'm Matt Hodgeberg. We'll see you on the next show.